Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Demonic possession is a debatable and controversial topic, as some people believe that a supernatural evil spirit can take control of the human body, while others believe that it's all fake and made-up stories. It's impossible to know for sure whether these incidents are real or fake, but there's one thing that is for sure. There is always a poor victim. Brace yourselves as we show you the top 10 victims of the scariest demonic possessions. Let's begin. Number 10. Robbie Manheim. Once upon a time in the 1940s, Robbie was staying at his Aunt Harriet's place, and that's when he discovered a Ouija board. While using the board, it said that they didn't follow the proper protocol when finishing the ritual, and soon after his visit, his aunt died for unexplained reasons. After her funeral, when the family went home, and while Robbie's mother was preparing for dinner, she heard strange noises coming out of Robbie's room. The voices sounded like women screaming and children weeping, and Mrs. Manheim thought her son might just be mourning the loss of his favorite aunt. During dinner, when the whole family was eating, Robbie's parents started to hear the same voices as before, and a nearby chair slid across the room. These occurrences continued for a few weeks, and the family then decided to seek the counsel of a paranormal expert who observed that the paranormal activity used to increase when Robbie was in the room. The family then consulted a Catholic priest to go through exorcism. Robbie went through a series of exorcisms, most of which were not successful. In the most famous one, Robbie was able to escape the restraints, and then he broke off a bed spring that he used to slash the wrists of the priest. The final exorcism proved to be successful, but was also very terrifying. But fortunately, Robbie was able to live a fairly normal life afterward.
Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 9. Supermarket possession. This clip of a woman who is browsing a supermarket in China when suddenly she looks around and her body is taken over by something like a demonic spirit. Her head is thrown uncontrollably back and her body starts convulsing, as we can see in the footage. The customers in the store, as well as the administration, come and try to help her, but they become so scared that all they can manage to do is watch from a distance and call the police. But maybe they should have called Lorraine Warren or a priest to perform some exorcism on her. What do you think you'd do if you came across such a thing when you went to the supermarket? Tell us in the comments. Number 8. Anneliese Michel. Anneliese Michel is a German woman who grew up in a religious family in the 1950s and led a fairly normal life until she was 16 in 1968 when she experienced her first convulsion, which left her hospitalized. She was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy. In the 1970s, her family and physicians noticed a behavioral change that was strange even for someone with her condition. She said she would see devil faces and hear strange voices even when no one was in the room. She said the voices told her to hurt people, and also that she was damned to rot in hell. In 1975, she was removed from the medical care facility and brought back home, where she went through 67 exorcisms, some of which lasted for 5 long hours. During that time, she stopped eating and drinking, and in 1976, she died of malnutrition and dehydration. The coroner's report revealed that her ribs and knees had been broken due to convulsions, and the parents and priests were charged with negligent manslaughter and given 6 months in jail, but the punishment wasn't served as the Catholic Church paid for the legal fees. Number 7. Indian exorcism. In one of the most prestigious Hindu temples in India, there is a room that remains locked and holds some of the most tormented people of the country. It's called the Cave of Spirits and is known as the last hope for people who are possessed by a demon. Several girls in a nearby village have been possessed by an unknown spirit, and their families tried everything to get rid of the demonic spirit but failed in their attempts. So they attempted to perform an exorcism in the temple, which seemed to be successful as the girls left healthy and in their senses, while the spirits remained there. Number 6. The Demon Murder Trial. 1981 was the first time when the term demonic possession was used as a legitimate defense in the United States court of law. That's when a man named Orange Cheyenne Johnson murdered his drunken landlord and then claimed he was possessed by a demon during the event. Even Johnson's wife reported that she noticed in the moments before the stabbing, he began to gutturally growl and make noises that she had never heard any human being make before. The possibility of Johnson's possession was corroborated by famous demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren, who just a few months before the murder were investigating an alleged possession, one that just so happened to center around the family of the Johnsons. The family friends had allegedly experienced events that were not of their control and resembled those that Johnson had described himself. The judge then decided that demonic possession was not a viable argument in the court of law and would ask the jury not to treat it as a possibility of self-defense. It took 15 hours of deliberation across the course of 3 days before the jury finally convicted Johnson of murder. Number 5. Subway possession. Good luck sleeping tonight, because after seeing this, you might just want to stay awake and keep a guard on any demonic spirit that might be lurking around you. So this footage was apparently recorded in a subway station in San Francisco, where we could see this unknown woman going through some sort of convulsion where she's making weird inhuman voices and rolling on the ground, perhaps because she's possessed by some violent and angry spirit. We really hope that people filming this video called the police or notified the authorities at the subway station, because this woman looks like she could seriously injure herself. We think that if she isn't possessed by a violent demon, she must have snorted some flakka, because we don't know what else could cause a situation like this. Number 4. CLARA Germana CELE. CLARA CELE grew up in South Africa, and from a young age, she had behavioral problems. She believed that the church was the reason she was an orphan. Due to this, she had a strong disregard of the religion by 16, and the more the nuns tried to bring Clara closer to God, the more she'd resist. It was at this rebellious point in her life that she allegedly made a deal with the devil, as told by some of her classmates. Clara's behavior dramatically changed after that, as one nun who used to teach foreign language noticed that Clara suddenly became suspiciously fluent in German, and had also mastered Polish, French, and other languages which weren't even taught at the school. The fearful nun decided to test her and began to speak to Clara in an arcane micro-dialect, which was only spoken by a small number of people in an isolated town. The nun asked Clara slowly who she was, and with a smirk on her face, Clara replied, "Me." The nun immediately requested to the father that Clara should undergo exorcism, while Clara decided to have some fun and went around to the other teachers and revealed their deepest, darkest secrets in front of the class. The school administration decided to take hold of her, but as a teacher approached her, she threw him across the room, and as she was taken to a bed to perform an exorcism, the attending nuns reported that Clara let out such a scream that it shook the grounds of the school. A series of exorcisms were performed, and Clara was finally cleansed of the demon. Number 3. Sleep possession. A young guy who had trouble sleeping decided to record himself on the CCTV camera that detects movement and audio. He wanted to see if there's anything unusual that was causing him to wake up in the middle of the night, but once he saw the footage, he wasn't relieved at all. Let's take a look at what happened and what he saw in the footage that left him bewildered. We can see in the video clip that something was rising from the bed while he was asleep, and strange mumbling sounds could be heard, and then the guy sat up and looked straight at the camera. Yeah, that's exactly why it's probably not a good idea to record yourself while sleeping, as you never know what's lurking around in your room while you lay there sleeping.
And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick.
Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. This is a picture of the black-eyed bandit who got famous for a while on the internet. Everyone thought she was part of a possessed cult, but later it was proved that she had nothing to do with demonic possession, and even her tattoos on the face were proved to be fake. The length people go to make up stories on the internet. Number 1. Possessed woman on a train. For the number 1 spot, we're about to show you a tape that was recorded back in 1973. This footage was found in the attic of an isolated home by the new owners, and what they saw in the footage was very disturbing. In the video, a creepy guy was laying in the bed who was going through some unexplainable fits and laughing hysterically in a scary voice. We can only guess what the new owners did with that clip, but we're sure that they would have had trouble sleeping that night. We'd love to know which one of these entries you liked most of all, so tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.